Have you ever just looked up at the night sky and felt, well, small? Today, we're going to chase that feeling. We're going on a journey that starts right here on our doorstep and goes all the way to the edge of reality itself, just to get a handle on the true scale of our universe. Let's get started. You know, everything you've ever known, every person you've ever met, it's all right here, on this planet. But have you ever really stopped to think about how tiny our home is in the grand scheme of things? Let's find out, shall we?
So to answer that, we've got to start with our closest celestial neighbor, the Moon. It feels so familiar, right? It's always up there. But as we're about to see, even this first tiny step off our planet is a truly giant leap.
On average, the Moon is about 384,400 kilometers away. Now, that's just a number. It's so big, it's kind of hard to even picture. So let's try to bring that down to Earth a bit.
Get this. The empty space between us and the Moon is so huge, you could line up 30 planet Earths side by side and they'd fit perfectly in that gap. 30. All of a sudden, our closest neighbor doesn't feel so close anymore.
Let's put this on an even more human scale. In all of history, only 12 people have ever made that journey. If you jumped in a car and drove at 100 kilometers an hour, non-stop, it would take you 160 days to get there. And even a radio signal moving at the speed of light takes a full 2.5 seconds to cross that distance.
Okay, but the Moon, that's just our cosmic backyard. Now let's really stretch our legs and venture out into the vastness of our solar system.
If you were standing on Mars and looked back, our entire planet, everything we've ever known, would be just a tiny little dot of light. We're talking an average distance of 225 million kilometers. And that 2.5-second communication delay to the Moon? From Mars, it's a 20-minute wait. Each way. Imagine trying to have a conversation.
So yeah, kilometers are starting to get a little impractical, right? That's why astronomers use a different yardstick, the astronomical unit, or AU. 1 AU is simply the distance from the Earth to the Sun. It's a brand new ruler for a brand new scale.
Now, using that ruler, the farthest thing humanity has ever sent out into space is the Voyager 1 probe. Right now, it's about 138 AU away. That's 138 times the distance from the Earth to the Sun. And as it was sailing out into the black, it did something truly incredible. At the request of the scientist Carl Sagan, it turned its camera around for one last look back home. What do you think it saw from that unbelievable distance?
This, the famous pale blue dot. And Carl Sagan said it best. That's here. That's home. That's us, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. It's a pretty humbling thought, isn't it?
But believe it or not, our journey is far from over. Voyager 1 is technically still inside our solar system's influence. For our next leap, we're zooming out, way out, to the scale of our entire home galaxy, the Milky Way.
Just like kilometers became too small, now even astronomical units are kind of useless. To measure the space between stars, we need the light year. It's the distance light, the fastest thing there is, can travel in one entire year. And that is a mind-boggling 9.46 trillion kilometers.
So our closest stellar neighbor, the very next star over, Proxima Centauri, is over 4 light years away. Even Voyager 1, which is screaming through space at 17 kilometers every second, would take more than 70,000 years to get there. That just shows you the sheer, unbelievable emptiness between the stars.
Now, let's look at the whole galaxy. The Milky Way is about 100,000 light-years across. And you see that tiny little bubble on the screen? That represents how far all of our radio broadcasts have ever traveled, everything we've ever sent out. Outside of that bubble, it is complete and total silence from us. We're just a tiny, quiet whisper in a massive city of over 100 billion stars.
You think a galaxy with 100 billion stars is big? We are just getting started. Prepare yourself for another jump in scale, because our galaxy isn't alone. It's just one tiny point of light in a vast cosmic metropolis.
Let's actually build out our cosmic address. First, we live in what's called the local group, which is a little neighborhood of about 54 galaxies. That group is just one small piece of the Virgo supercluster, which has over 100 other galaxy groups inside of it. And even that is just one little branch of the immense Laniakea supercluster, a structure that contains our galaxy and about 100,000 others.
And when we finally zoom all the way out to the very edge of what our telescopes can see, astronomers estimate there are at least 2 trillion individual galaxies. 2 trillion.
To even try to wrap your head around that number, just think about this. There are more stars in our observable universe than there are grains of sand on every single beach on the entire planet Earth. Just let that sink in for a second.
Okay, we've reached the edge of everything we can possibly see, but is that really where the story ends? Let's push one last time into the final and most mind-bending frontier of them all.
So this observable universe is a giant bubble of light, about 93 billion light-years across. But here's the kicker. That's not the whole story. Not even close. According to leading theories, the entire universe, the whole shebang, might be 150 sectillion times larger than the part we can see. That's 150 with 21 zeros after it. It's a number that's so big it's basically meaningless.
So how on earth can we visualize that? Well, try this amazing analogy. If everything we've seen so far, all 2 trillion galaxies, the whole observable universe, was shrunk down to the size of a single light bulb, then the entire universe, the true reality, would be larger than the planet Pluto. We're living inside the light bulb, totally unaware of the Pluto-sized reality just beyond what we can see.
Wow, it is really easy to feel unbelievably small after a journey like that. But you know, maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. Because all this vastness, all this unknown, it just means there is so much left out there for us to discover. So maybe the real question isn't how small we are. Maybe it's this. If our universe is truly this vast, what wonders are left for us to find?